Collectors, and welcome to another joint video between the United Kingdom Coin World channel and the DC Coin World channel. And today it's going to be the 10 pence coin from the United Kingdom from 1991. And in 1991, they said to all the people in Britain and Northern Ireland and Scotland and Wales that, look, we are going to, and of course England, we are going to change the 10 pence coin. We're going to make it smaller. And they had already done that 2 years before. In 1990, they came out with a new small 5p coin. So here's the 5 pence coin here. And they went from a large 5 pence to a smaller 5 pence. And they said, we're just going to follow that through and do it with the 10 pence. And they said, we're going to make that 10 pence smaller. And the British public said, well, you haven't put out a 10 pence in 11 years anyway. They did not put out any 10 pence coins for general circulation between after 1981 until 1992. So the 10 pence coin that came out between 1968 and 1991 was this coin. It said 10 new pence on it. And it had, of course, the crowned lion, and said 10 at the bottom, new pence here. This is a 1980 version, the second to the last year that they made these for general circulation. Of course, it had Queen Elizabeth II on the front with her Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. This is a so-called Arnold Machin portrait, and it has a reeded rim, and it's a relatively large coin. And when they stopped making the 10 new pence in 1981, they didn't put out any new pence anymore, but they switched the brilliant uncirculated and proof set versions. So this is really weird. You could get this coin, which said 10 pence on it, from 1982 until 1992, and it was in brilliant uncirculated version. So they took the new off and put the 10 on, but only allowed you to buy it if you bought what they called the set versions or the series versions, which were proof or uncirculated coins. So in 1991, they came out and said, we're going to make this smaller. And people said, well, you haven't made one for years. And I'm not sure why the 10 new pence wasn't made for 10 or 11 years, except I think that when they introduced it in 68, and from then on, they made so many that they just never needed to produce it again. The other thing is, of course, that this coin, it's a heavy coin, but it's also a really, really durable coin. So it's a copper nickel. It weighs 11.3 grams, this new pence did, and 28.5 millimeters in diameter, 2.5 millimeters in thickness. And it was just this huge, heavy-duty thing. And if you look at this one, this got demonetized in 1993, but this is essentially, 40 years old now. And it's just in great shape, and of course it weighs the same. So when they said in 1991, when they were making this one only for the sets, we're going to make a smaller one, people said, okay, big deal. What should we do about it? And it turned out that in 1992, they did come out with a new 10 pence coin, and it was smaller, and it did, of course, have the lion on it, and same crowned lion on it, and it was, of course, the same material, which is a copper nickel material, and it went from 11.3 grams to 6.5 grams, so almost half the weight. So now you can see why it might have saved them a little bit of money to do that. Now, if you look at this lion, the lion looks like he's a little bit apprehensive in this coin, and for good reason, because he knows he's going to get shrunk. And if you look at the lion, you can actually see the face of the lion if we get it just right. It almost looks like humanoid kind of face, doesn't it? And see how the crown the dotted stuff goes around the crown at the very top? Yeah, see, here's the face of the lion and the mane and the ears, and see how that dot goes around the top. You can't really see that as well in the smaller coin. You can see it, and it's not as distinguished, and the face is a little flatter. And the lion And this one looks a little apprehensive or scared. This one, he seems like he's back to normal. But guess who else got shrunk in 1992? Well, it was Queen Elizabeth II. So Queen Elizabeth II in the 1991 coins was this big queen. See how big she is in this one. And then look how small she got here. So both the lion and the queen got shrunk between 1991 and 1992. Now, it might have been a little easier for Queen Elizabeth II to take because, of course, she'd been shrunk earlier. So she got shrunk between 1989 and 1990. So she was already small. Actually, she was much smaller on the 5p coin. So maybe it didn't matter that she had gotten quite a bit smaller between 1991 and 1992. All right, well, that's all we have today for our DC Coin World, United Kingdom Coin World, International Coin channels. We'd love to have you subscribe to our channels and leave any comments you might have in the comments section. Let me get that one last view of that coin. Boy, that's just a beautiful coin.